The search for Michael Vaughn continues. Michael went missing from his neighborhood in Fruitland in July of 2021. He was just 5 years old at the time. Law enforcement has spent the last year and a half investigating. But the Fruitland police chief says a credible tip led investigators to a home near Michael's neighborhood this weekend.
Crews are back out in Fruitland today searching for Michael Vaughn. Police believe his remains are in the backyard of a Fruitland home, and today is the 6th day crews are excavating the yard. Crews could be at the house on Red Wing Street for another week. This house is just 4 minutes from the Vaughn's home.
As you know, from the time Michael went missing, this has been an all-hands-on-deck investigation, and it remains very active and an ongoing investigation. You can't take one of our most precious citizens from us and ever expect us to stop. During the course of this investigation to date, we received credible information that the remains of Michael Vaughn could be found in the backyard at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland. As a result, the Fruitland Police Department obtained a search warrant for the residence along with the front and backyards. That search warrant was served on November 11th. It was a Friday. We served that late in the evening. Upon entry, officers encountered Stacy Wandra, one of the known occupants of the home, and Sarah was subsequently arrested based on probable cause that she had knowledge of Michael's death and failed to report that death to law enforcement. The following day, the Fruitland Police Department, joined by the Idaho State Police, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, the Fruitland Fire Department, and the Fruitland Public Works Department, began a very methodical excavation of the backyard of the Wandras' home. During that excavation process, the Idaho Mountain Search and Rescue, Mountain States detection dogs deployed multiple certified human remains detection dogs on the property, all of them alerting to the presence of human remains. Ground penetrating radar was also used and deployed, detecting anomalies in the backyard. We completed the excavation of the entire backyard and removed over 250 yards of dirt. Prior to backfilling the yard, the dirt was meticulously sifted for any potential human remains. We did not find Michael's remains. Although the remains of Michael Vaughn were not recovered, we strongly believe, based on evidence, that Michael was abducted and is deceased, and that his remains were buried and later moved from the property. As of today, the whereabouts of his remains are unknown. However, the investigation is active, fluid, and ongoing. Once the excavation was complete, we conducted a thorough search of the Wandras' residence. The search was productive, and additional investigative evidence was recovered and is currently being processed.
Evidence suggests that there are the following individuals who are currently in custody are involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. Stacy Wandra, 35 years old. Sarah lives at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Sarah has firsthand knowledge and is involved in Michael's abduction. Stacy Wandra is currently being held at the Payette County Jail for failing to report a death to law enforcement. And Stacy Wandra, 30 years old, a male. Stacy was also living at 1102 Red Wing Street in Fruitland and was living there at the time of Michael's disappearance. We believe that Stacy has firsthand knowledge and is involved in the abduction of Michael Vaughn. Brandon Shirtliff, 30 years old, of Kuna, Idaho. Brandon was living with Sarah and Stacy Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe Brandon has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction. Adrien Lucien, 32-year-old male out of Toledo, Ohio. Adrien was staying with Sarah and Stacy Wandra at 1102 Red Wing Street at the time of Michael's disappearance, and we believe that Adrien has firsthand knowledge of Michael's abduction.
Hey everybody, good to see you. How come I'm so little over there? What the heck? Hey, March 7th, 2025, approximately 2 p.m. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you guys all for being here. It's good to see everybody. Thank you, mods, for coming again on very short notice. I appreciate everybody. Before I go over and chat to see who's all here, I just want to ask everybody, please, for some prayers for Brandy. I can't go into any details, but she's very, very ill right now, and she needs prayer warriors. Can we just fill the chat up with some prayers? I'll read your prayers out loud for like the next couple of minutes, but let's send Brandy some love. She really needs it today. Thank you guys so much. Brandy, we are praying for you. We are praying for some fast healing. We all love you. We're here. We're fighting for Michael today while you're having a hard time. Just want to let you know that we love you. I know she is. Bless her soul, she says. Yas, thank you so much. Prayer sent for Brandy and her family. Thank you, Connie. Brandy, you got this, mama. Thank you, guys. She's not doing very good today. So what better way to keep her strength going than to fight for Michael and do a live and show her that we're here for her and give her strength. AV says, sending lots of healing energy your way, Brandy. Many prayers for you, Brandy. Baby Kisses says, I know she's in pain. We are all behind you, Brandy. Thank you, Slim. Trust me, they all four got firsthand knowledge, and they're all four still suspects as of January 10th, 2025. Thank you for sharing the live. The Lord is near unto those who are of broken heart. Psalms 34:18. Thank you, Shelley, so much. Hugs, big prayers for you today. Sending love and prayers to Brandy Neal and the family. Thank you so much, Nada. Thank you guys all for coming in. If she feels too bad, I hope she goes to the ER. I'm so worried, praying for sweet Brandy. I can't go into details, but she's not doing good today, guys. So I just wanted to get a little bit, some prayers for her and her family. Brandy, you've been a beautiful, loving mother. They all know that. Baby Kisses, thank you so much. All right, so we love you, Brandy, by Halo Art. Thank you so much. I know she's going to appreciate seeing all the prayers and stuff when she gets the chance. Praying for Brandy, praying for an Easter miracle. Jesus will help you heal, Brandy. We are all pulling for you. Yes, we are, Shelley. Thank you so much. Big sister mode. I know. I know. We have to protect Brandy's privacy. Okay, so today we are going to analyze Stacy's YouTube shit show. How does that sound? And I need everybody in chat to help me analyze. I thought that this could be a good way to, you know, we've already seen what Stacy Wandra has done. And we already know that a lot of everything that he says is lies and contradictions. And, you know, we just need to go back over it, I feel like. Because every time I go back over what Stacy has said, I find more and more contradictions. And the most important thing is I find slip-ups. And that's what I really, really want to try to find today is slip-ups. So let me say hi to everybody in chat. We got Pointer Lover, Baby Kisses, Shelly. Thank you guys all for being here. Connie, Halo Art. Thank you guys. Yaya, all my moderators for being here. Y'all are amazing, especially when I go live spur of the moment like I do. You guys are always amazing. Lena, thank you for coming in. Let's see. Pointer Lover, Baby Kisses. We got Pretty Assessor. I love that name. Nice to see you. Hair Curlers and Crime is here. Ya's here. I might be repeating some names. I don't know. AV is here. Thank you for coming. Thank you guys for all the prayers. OG Nanny is here. Thank you for being here. Slim, Donna. You guys are great. Best name on the YouTube, Hair Curlers and Crime. I absolutely love it. Amy, I see you. Thank you for being here. You guys are so awesome. Thank you guys for all of the prayers for Brandy. Shelly Seashells, say that 10 times fast. Thank you for being here. Eve Hickman, thank you for being here. Shelly Barbonet Z. Not a Drama Nana, thank you so much. All right. Cuz is here. LIV is here. Thank you guys. All right. So I just kind of went through, you know, some of his interviews to try to decide which ones I wanted to show first. And I do believe that Brooks did a great job with Stacy Wandra when she had him up on her panel. Earth Dog, thank you so much. That's amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that so very much. You're amazing. Thank you for being super. I cannot do what I do without you all, so I appreciate you so much. Thank you. And thank you for coming in. So, yeah, I just want to start going over all of Stacy's interviews. And with the help of all of you guys, we can see, you know, what we can find. It's going to be gross. It's Sarah Suspicious. I love saying your name. Thank you for coming in, hon. Yeah, it's going to be gross. We're going to hear him gag. We're going to hear him spit. We're going to see the chew in his mouth. He's going to suck on gummy worms. It's going to be disgusting to go over. I know. And I don't know how many of you guys have gone over all of this stuff before, but yeah, we're going to do it again. We're going to keep doing it again and again. No Halo art. I don't think there is a GoFundMe at this time. I have 3 people right now that are keeping me posted, but I can't go into any details right now. So I'm really sorry for that. I just really wanted to ask everybody for prayers. Sassy, thank you for being here, love. Okay, so matter of fact, let me share something with you guys in case you guys ever experience this. It's ridiculous, okay? So I had some problems with my diabetes and I started having some extra heart palpitations. So I went into the ER and nothing really happened. I ended up having a heart monitor for a week. I turned it in. They did a lot of blood work and a lot of different tests and stuff, and it was whatever. And I feel so much better now. Nothing's going on. It was my diabetes. And I opened up a test result this last week from the lab at the hospital. I open it up and it tells me that I had a heart attack between the 21st and the 25th. Now, don't get all upset because I didn't. I did not have a heart attack, but this is what this lab result says. So I look over at my husband and I'm like, this lab test is saying that I had a heart attack between the 21st and the 25th. He's like, what? I get in the shower, I get dressed, I go to the hospital. Like, I'm not messing around, right? This is my heart. Like, I'm going to the hospital. I get up to the hospital, I check in, they get me immediately back. My blood pressure was out the roof, 195 over 110, you know, because I'm kind of freaking out that my blood, you know, that this blood work come back. And I start talking with the doctor. You guys want to know what they told me? My lab results were computer generated. Yes, they use AI, computer generated labs that a cardiologist from the hospital hadn't gone over yet. And since it was past the days or whatever, they automatically have to send it out to the labs for me to get my results. So no cardiologist goes over this. The doctor's like, I'm looking at all your EKGs we did last week when you were here. Everything looks fine. Nothing happened. People, if you ever get anything like that, lab results like that, maybe call the hospital. We waited in the emergency room. I mean, I did get right back, but as they're running tests, this was over a 12-hour trip to the hospital because of this lab. And let me tell you, when the doctor came in, the big doctor at the very end, after all my test results and everything came back in, I'm like, so you mean to tell me that AI computer generates my lab results, which then got me so upset that when I came in here, my blood pressure was 195 over 110. Like, you almost gave me a heart attack telling me I had a heart attack when I really didn't have a heart attack. What a friggin' day that was. So that has been my week and a half. Just crazy. And of course, I'm making cardio doctors. I'm doing all of this stuff to make sure that everything's okay. I've already seen my endocrinologist for my diabetes. Everything's back under control. One of the last lives I did, I wasn't making sense, and it was because of my blood sugars. So just letting everybody know. I can't remember if it was the last live I did or no. I think it was the last live I did. There were just certain parts after re-listening, and well, afterwards I knew my blood sugar was low, but then when I re-listened, I'm like, oh wow, I didn't even sound like myself during that live because my blood sugars were low, probably the last hour and a half of that live. So back on track. Super crazy. AI runs lab work at the hospital. That was kind of weird to find out, but thank you guys all. Yes, I am okay. I feel good. I've only had diabetes for a little over a year, so I'm just kind of like learning how to take care of myself and stuff, but it was just really super crazy to find out that labs are generated through a computer. Yeah, and if a cardiologist doesn't take a look, or if the doctors don't take a look at that, it just gets, sent to you via email. So anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm figuring it out and that I'm okay, because I was not okay when I thought I had had a heart attack on my way to the hospital. I tell you what, I mean, my husband was in tears. He was so upset. Like, it was kind of an emotional thing. And I get a hold of my kids and I'm calling them and I'm telling them what happened and that I'm on my way to the hospital. Like, it was a huge, big ordeal to go through. And then, my kids are concerned. They're upset. My youngest one was almost in tears. So yeah, I mean, if you guys ever get, I know, yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, because I know that you've been recently in the hospital for something close to this, like blocked artery or something. But yeah, matter of fact, I kept you in my mind, yeah, as I'm hearing these test results. I'm like, damn, something big like this almost happened to yeah. Like, I better go in and make sure I'm okay. So yeah, crazy. Voices to the wall. Thank you so much for being here. And we celebrate when we get super stickers. Thank you for being super. Thank you for coming. I went in to see one of your lives the other day, and then you had to cut it short, and then I couldn't go back and watch the other one until it was on replay. So nice to see you. So anyway, that's my story. I just wanted to share with everybody, because if you ever get like lab work like that, try not to panic like I panicked, because I did kind of like panic a little bit, but everything worked out fine. And I'm truly feeling so thankful and grateful for that too. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do if something like that would happen. It would have freaked me out. So, okay, you were at work. I hate doing them at work, but it was a boring day. And that's when the inspector shows up. Oh shit. Yeah, that's not good. I'm so OCD when I do my lives anyway. I have to have everything all out and everything. I don't even know that I could go live like sitting at work. Baby Kisses Yaya says, don't mess with that. That's what happened to her. What was going on with Yaya? I mean, I don't want to share too much of her information, but it was going on for quite a while. I know she's already shared that before she went in. Young, hang in there. I am 53 old. No, I'm 53 young, actually. I think I live in like a 30-ish year old body. So anyway, enough about me. Thank you guys for the prayers for Brandy. And of course, we need to share Michael. Let's add him up here. That's who we're here for. We are going to go live with Michael, give Brandy some strength, let her know that we're here fighting for him today. Michael Monkey Vaughn was abducted on July 27th of 2021. There are 4 suspects: Sarah Wandra, Stacy Wandra, Brandon Shirtliff, and Adrien Lucian. These 4 suspects were updated on January 10th of 2025. They are still suspects. Brandy Vaughn came out a while back ago and said that the suspects were all going to be charged, that indictments are coming. We all heard that. And they are coming. It may be taking a little bit longer than we all thought, but paperwork, we have to dot our I's and cross our T's, and we got to get that paperwork perfect, right? We want everything perfect in that paperwork. I know a lot of people are saying, like, how come it's taking so long? She came out over a month ago to say, like, it's only been 4 weeks and it's coming. So Michael Joseph Vaughn needs justice. And you know, his family, the Vaughn family, they need peace. So if you have any tips, big or small, please call the tip line at Fruitland Police Office 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. No tip is too big or too small. We always say that. If you see something, say something. You may have heard one of the suspects talking or heard something. Maybe they even told you something that you feel like could be of value. Maybe you don't know that it's valuable information and you just like, it's probably nothing. Well, it could be something. So go in and tell them what you know, or call the tip line at 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. You can remain anonymous. It's so very important for tips to be coming in, especially right now before they put out indictments. You know, these suspects, we have 2 that are incarcerated right now and 2 that are not. But police know exactly where they are in case and when they make arrests. So with that being said, please, please, please pray for Michael and, you know, Michael's justice, and pray for the family, because all they need is more and more tips to go with the evidence that law enforcement already has. It will make this case even more strong than it already is. So please, if you have any information, call 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. Right. So here we go. We are going to we got Tat Jack in the house. Hello, good to see you. Little Devil, hello, good to see you, hun. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you so much. I'm glad I'm okay too. Thank you so much, Little Devil. Thank you for being. All right, so we're just going to start going over this. So how this is going to work is I'm going to throw it up. I'm going to put up the interview with Stacy. I may fast forward, rewind, but I really want to talk about things. Now, we all know some of these videos that were done with him were over 2 hours. We may or may not go through the entire thing today. But we're going to be here for a little while, maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to just Zane Lily. Hi, good to see you, hun. Zane, if you want to join, you can click that StreamYard up at the top. I don't know if you have time or if you're working. Oh, it's Friday. You're off today. But if you want to join, I know it's kind of spur of the moment. We're just going to go over Stacy Wondra's interviews. Yeah, so gonna go over these interviews. If you see anything, let me know in chat. I'll try to get to everything everybody's saying. I'm going to keep an eye on my phone while it's playing. I'm going to pause. We're going to stop. We're going to talk. We're going to do all those crazy things. And we're going to do it with all of Stacy's interviews over the next week or so. So next week, I want to try to be a little bit more busy and do it more often than just, you know, my regular once or twice a week lives, so that we can get through them all. And yeah, so let's get started here. Yeah, Zane, let me know if you want to come up. Hot Mess, thank you for being here. All right, let me see what I got here. We are going to share the screen. Let's see. Hello, Pointer Lover. Thank you so much. Thank you for keeping Michael out there. I wouldn't have it any other way. Pointer Lover, thank you so much. Let's give you some love and thank you for the super. I can't do this without you guys, so I really appreciate that. I try to get to all of you guys whenever you guys put up super chat stickers, become members and stuff. I won't be seeing my screen when I'm sharing. So if I don't get to you now, I will thank you in the comments later or after, towards the end of the show. All right. Let me see. Just gonna share the screen. Gonna share the screen. All right. Like I said, this is gonna be gross, guys. Gonna spit, gag, do all of his grossness. We already know. And like I said, I'd like you guys' help. Let's just, go through. What I want to look for, in case anybody knows or if anybody's ever gone through this, I know you guys have seen other creators go through, analyze, we have all found his contradictions, at least the most popular contradictions. So what we're going to look for is contradictions, lies, since we have and know more information now than we did before. I think this is going to be very useful, especially since his confession footage came out. So, and slip-ups. If you hear any slips, like he almost says something but doesn't, we can talk about that. Let's look at it. If I don't get to your chat, your comment in chat, in the comment section, if y'all want to grab your pen and paper, write down the timestamp. If you can, put it in the comment section. We can talk about it like the next live when we start going over and like, look, this is what this person found, this inconsistency, that kind of a thing. I'll go through the comments, pay attention, especially the really important ones. I just want everybody to get involved in doing this because I think all eyes on this, maybe we might find something. And let's face it, there's not a lot of content right now to go over. So this is content to go over, to reevaluate everything that Stacy has done. Let me just go back over to YouTube Studio real quick because I need to credit to CLL, Crime Lines and Lies. Okay. Just so that's there. And then I'll add her. Even though she doesn't do it to me when I do it, I will give credit where credit is due. I believe this is hers. So there is that. I'm going to check to see if anybody came in over here. Okay. Just want to check in on everything before I start. Okay, so I've got my phone. I'm watching chat. I'll see if you guys catch anything. I'll stop if I catch anything. And let's just go through it all. And let's hear things that he has said before versus what we know now, what he said during his confession footage and stuff. I know when I go over this stuff, I find so much more. All right. Hot Mess says that this is in her living room because those are her curtains and stuff. Okay, let's go.
Me too. I mean, you want to start with questions, or I mean, what do I do?
Well, let's just start with, let's just go through our conversation this morning. Let's talk July 27th, 2021, the day that Michael was abducted.
Okay.
Hey, Purple, good to see you, hon. Thank you for coming in.
So it was very weird. I mean, Sarah, Brandon, and I had initially gone and well, okay, let's backtrack. So
Thank you, Slim.
earlier that day, I had a call for a taxi ride. Wanted to go from Ontario to Boise. Sarah wasn't available, but I was, so I was like, okay, I'll just go do the taxi ride. At that same time, I took the taxi ride and I decided to hang.
Okay, Zane, I'll be looking for you. Riley's nanny, thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate you here so much. Here's my impersonation of super chat. We're just gonna dance. Thank you so much. I can't do it without you. Yes, Purple. I already had everybody pray and pray and pray when I started the live. Brandy messaged me earlier and let me know what was going on. If you need anything, Purple, let me know, okay? Get a hold of me. Even if you just need somebody to talk or something.
Hang out in Boise for a little bit. I think I'd gone and visited a buddy of mine.
Hey, Ink. Nice to see you.
In Boise. I don't remember exactly the specifics. I know that I was.
Can you tell us
gone for a few hours.
Who the buddy was?
Yeah. So I used to. It was actually an old employer that I did work for, but he also became a friend. His name was the company was Labor Dave's.
So this Labor Dave guy, he mentions going and seeing that day. And then after these interviews, he stops talking about going and seeing Labor Dave. He says he was, he leaves at 11, or he gets the taxi run at 11. He's leaving the neighborhood. We know he's seen on CCTV at the splash pad come 1:15, 1:30, something like that. And he goes over to do the taxi ride to Ontario, to the Boise airport, and then goes and sees Labor Dave for a few hours and then goes back to Fruitland, is what he originally says. Okay. Labor Dave is no longer with us. He did pass away a while back ago. So I don't know if anything was confirmed or not by law enforcement through Labor Dave or anything, but that is part and one detail that he did give about his timeline. And in his recent interviews and even being up on panel with me and with Brandy, he doesn't say anything about Labor Dave. He doesn't say anything about hanging out with him for a few hours. Nothing. But he, him and Brandy go back and forth in this argument about him being at the park that was kitty corner from his work for 2 to 3 hours, from what I understand, just sitting in another park. So earlier he's in a splash pad, and then he is over sitting in a park. Hey, A Balance, nice to see you, hon.
And then his name was David Fears. But he I'd gone to visit him, I think, to talk to him about some extra work at the time. You're welcome, Chrissy. So I hadn't I hadn't been in Boise, like I said, it was only for a few hours, but I literally had just stopped to see Dave, and I think it was discussing some extra work that he had wanted me to do for him. He had me do a lot of labor gigs. A lot of it was moving gigs or, sitting on a riding lawnmower and mowing a lot of the LDS churches. There, he had a contract with them. But there was not there was nothing going on in the neighborhood when I had left. When I got back to the neighborhood from Boise, it was still mellow. It was still calm. There was nothing unusual going on. And I got back home, and it was just like a normal, average home. I mean, there was no. I mean, Brandon was there, I was there, and Sarah was there.
So here he's saying when he got back home, Brandon was home and Sarah was home. And we know that Brandon said recently that him and Sarah and Adrien all come home, but I don't think Sarah, like Stacy's mentions Adrien being there at the house when he comes home. But here, I got to get my pen out because I'm looking at contradictions and I want to take notes and stuff. So we've got Stacy saying here, when he gets home, Sarah and Brandon are there. When he gets home, moving gigs. I thought he couldn't do that kind of hard labor, right? He says that he can't do any kind of hard labor, but he talks about towing that car and pushing it out of the driveway. And now he's talking about moving, which is a lot of lifting.
What time?
I don't know. I'd say probably close to 3:30 or 4, maybe.
Right. He says he can't even walk. Right.
It's like I said, this is years ago. You know what I mean? I don't remember verbatim everything, so I'm sorry if I'm not able to remember specifics, but I try. But I got home and everything was just as it should be. As a normal household should be. Peaceful, quiet. Not.
Just taking note here that he says he got home about 3:30, 4 o'clock. I have to take this, you guys, so I'm going to mute just for a second and continue playing.
Nothing exciting, and then Brandon had approached Sarah and I because he had been asking for a little while, but he wanted Sarah and I to help him go get his vehicle from CUNA, which was parked at his mom's house. So about when it started getting dark, probably 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around the end of the 5 o'clock hour, we all got ready and got into the Sierra, the red burgundy truck, and I made sure that
whose truck is that, by the way? Because I don't know.
No, the burgundy truck is ours. It was ours. It got repossessed because we were late on the payment on it. So they repossessed it. But that's the only vehicle that we've ever had a repo on. The rest of the vehicles that we've owned or have had, have all been, paid up on time or whatnot. So the burgundy truck is what we took to go.
Slim, did he just say that while I was on the phone? So his trip to CUNA was 5:30 to 5:45. Did he just say that? Because I'm kind of keeping notes and writing. Just looking at chat to see if anybody's saying anything. Hey, Angel Girl, nice to see you. Maybe I'll rewind this just a tiny bit so I can hear what happened. Sorry, you guys, I had to take that phone call.
I was there, and Sarah was there.
What time?
I don't know. I'd say probably close to 3:30 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like I said, this is years ago. You know what I mean? I don't remember verbatim everything, so I'm sorry if I'm not able to remember specifics, but I try. But I got home and everything was just as it should be. You know, as a normal household should be. You know, peaceful, quiet. You know, not nothing exciting. You know. And then Brendan had approached Sarah and I because he had been asking for a little while, but he wanted Sarah and I to help him go get his vehicle from CUNA, which was parked at his mom's house. So about when it started getting dark, probably 5:30, 5:45.
And just to let everybody know, when it starts getting dark, he's saying, 5:30, 5:45. It wasn't dark, starting to get dark until almost 9 o'clock, and it wasn't dark till 9:17 on July 27th, 2021. So this is a huge inconsistency. It wasn't even starting to get dark. We're talking about July. Sun doesn't go down come 5:30. You know what I mean? That's a big bullshit.
Somewhere around the end of the 5 o'clock hour, we all got ready and got into the Sierra, the red burgundy truck, and I made sure that
Whose truck is that, by the way? Because I don't know.
No, that burgundy truck is ours. It was ours. It got repossessed because we were late on the payment on it. So they repossessed it.
I wonder if law enforcement ever looked at the red truck because it got repoed. And this is the truck that they took to CUNA. If they had Michael with them when they went to CUNA, did law enforcement get a chance to, go through the truck? We're not privy to information, even though we would love to be. Right? I want to write repoed because up until right now, I never had paid attention. See, this is one of the things I think, the snorking, just wow. This guy makes my head hurt with all of his confusion. Brandon said they had a car and a truck. Well, they took a truck to CUNA to tow a car back. Connie's like, big BS. His constant touching of his face and all is very telling that he's not being honest. Yep. Huge red flags here. Yeah, I'm hoping they search that truck too. Says, I wonder if the red truck, what is the evidence recently purchased? Good question, Slim. Yeah, it was barely sunset. It was dark at 9:17 when I Googled it.
But that's the only vehicle that we've ever had a repo on. The rest of the vehicles that we've owned or have had, have all been, paid up on time or whatnot. So the burgundy truck is what we took to go pick up Brandon's car, and I made sure that I put a tow strap in the back of the truck. and other, yeah, I don't know, like just safety stuff, for the road, because we were not using a tow dolly or anything. We're literally just towing it with a strap. So you got to take extra precautions when you do that type of stuff, especially towing a vehicle.
I don't know if he ever talks about why he had Michael's pic as his avatar or his profile picture on Facebook or not, but we're about to find out because we're going to go through all of his interviews.
And it not being really secured, other than the person steering the car behind you.
Can I get everybody to hit the like button? Like button. Hello, gosh, can't even use my words. Like button, please, on your way in or on your way out. I'd appreciate it so much. Help get this out into the algorithm for Michael.
So we had gone to his house, picked up his car. Sarah was driving the truck. I was in the passenger seat, and Brandon was in the back seat. I preferred Sarah to drive most places just because, I don't know, I was a bigger guy, and it was uncomfortable for me to sit behind a wheel all the time, and I had literally driven I drove earlier that day, and it was hurting me. So but
Now, what time are we talking about? Don't get confused by the chat, because we'll get to questions in a second.
I can't even see the chat.
Oh, you can't?
No. Oh, maybe I have to press chat? No,
it's okay, hon. Don't even worry about it. A lot of people are just saying you look great. You've lost a lot of weight.
Oh, thank you guys.
They're not saying that you looked bad before.
Oh, yeah.
One question, a lot of people have is, let's start from the beginning of the day, July 27th.
Mm-hmm.
Not when you got the taxi call.
Beginning of the day was, as the usual. Woke up from, obviously sleeping. Woke up, had some coffee. Kind of laid around the house, with Sarah and Brandon, and that was literally the highlight of the morning. We watched some TV, I think, or a movie, or I don't remember exactly, but there was nothing unusual that day at all.
He clears his throat when he's talking a lot. Now, is it because he was sick? Is this something that he did? Is this a nervous thing that he does before he tells a lie? I don't know. But here he paused for a minute, then cleared his throat, and then talked about it being a normal day, which we all know was not a normal day. July 27, 2021 is when Michael was abducted by one of these four suspects: Stacy Wandra, Sarah Wandra, Brandon Sherliff, or Adrien Lucian. Those are the facts.
Out of the ordinary, we just did the same routine that we always did.
And he talked earlier about how he had Sarah drive because he's always hurting. I don't understand that, okay? If your body is hurting, it isn't going to matter if you're driving or you're in the passenger seat. You're still inside the car. And he's saying that he had Sarah drive because he was hurting. And yet he drives taxi all day long too. So this whole, like, my body was aching, whatever story that he wants to give about driving just does not make sense to me. And we all know that they would all take off from the house and travel, to go on long trips, like the trip they took down to Texas and New Mexico, or the trip to Portland a couple weeks after Michael came up missing, or when they went up to a national forest up in Oregon, or when they drove to Las Vegas, Nevada. or when they're driving to Montana, to go get stuff that from his mom's house a few days before Michael was abducted. I mean, so he's taking all of these trips. Yeah, poor him, so sensitive, right? Like he's hurting. It just doesn't make sense. Hey, Opal, nice to see you, hon.
Which was get up, have your coffee, get dressed, get showered for the day. Like I said, I think we may have watched a movie or one or it was a movie or TV show. I don't remember.
And one of the most ridiculous things, I don't know if you guys remember, but in the very beginning, but do you guys remember they watched TV? No, they didn't watch TV because Sarah thought that the TV was evil and they had to get rid of the TV, when in all actuality, the TV was actually repoed. So they either did or they didn't watch TV. Doesn't really hold anything of value here, but still, like, why the lie? Why the contradiction? Why even talk about the TV if your TV was repoed? Opal, thank you so much for being here. I just want to read what she put into the comments. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. You matter. Thank you so much, Opal, for always spreading the kindness and love that comes from your heart out to everyone out on the YouTube streets. We appreciate you for being here. Thank you so much.
But I know that the TV shows that Sarah and I really were into were The Good Doctor and I really was obsessed with Chicago PD.
I mean, even
so
mentioning
just shows like that.
the shows he watched when
that
he didn't
we would
even have
watch.
TV.
So I don't remember exactly if it was a movie or a TV show, but
Makes you wonder if something nefarious was going on earlier in that morning. If they weren't really sitting there watching TV, what were they doing? Did they have things they needed to gather up to use later, or something to be able to kidnap somebody, or something? Like something nefarious may be going on, and that's why he feels like he even needs to talk about TV shows and what they actually had watched. Who knows? Moving gigs. If you can heft furniture, you are not weak and helpless. Exactly.
So that was literally like throughout the day, and then I got the taxi call probably. I think it was like around 11, and person wanted to go from Ontario to Boise, so I went and picked him up. Probably I left the house about 12:30 or 1 in the afternoon, and took the Lexus that
12:30, 1 o'clock here, he says he left the house, which we know is inaccurate because after going over the video footage, we know that that splash pad is right around the corner from the Wandra's house on Red Wing. So he's saying 12:30 to 1 o'clock. He's leaving. Just no, because he is seen at the splash pad closer to 1:30, and it doesn't take 45 minutes or an hour to drive from his house, or half an hour to an hour, 12:31, to get to the splash pad. I mean, it takes minutes, maybe 3 minutes. So he's deflecting here. Big boy goes driving
to go pick the client up and transport him to Boise. And I hung out in Boise, I think, for a few hours and then came home. Neighborhood seemed subtle and quiet. There's not a lot going on. Nothing seemed unusual at our house. Nothing was off. And then Brandon asked us if we would help him get his vehicle. So we agreed we would help him because he'd been bugging us for a while.
And Brandon backs up that story. I mean, according to Brandon, as long as they are, here is this truthful? Is it not truthful? When I talked to Brandon, when Brandon came up on panel, he did say that he asked Stacy to take him to go get his car at the Kuna house. Is that truth or not? We don't know. We've found lots of contradictions, but I just wanted to pause there for a second and say that Brandon also says the same thing here.
So we took the truck and went and picked him up, or picked his car up with us in Kuna, and he drove. He steered his car behind, and Sarah and I were in the truck, and we towed his vehicle all the way back to Fruitland. When we got back, we noticed that there was an exceptional amount of police officers and people just walking around, and I told Sarah to pull over. I was like, let's find out what's going on. And we rolled the window down, and we asked them, what's going on, what's happening. And they were like, well, a little boy was abducted. And we're like, what? It made no sense, because everything was at peace.
Who did you?
Just that comment. It doesn't make sense. Everything was at peace. Well, obviously it wasn't. A child has been gone, abducted. They're looking for him. Why would he even make a comment like that? The comment, like he's making this comment to deflect off of himself or to, get it, whatever, just off of himself right here.
You asked.
I don't remember. It was a police officer that we had talked to that was walking up the road.
Abducted, not missing. Thank you.
From the main strip, 8th Street, which is, you took 8th Street. 8th Street led you into our subdivision. We lived in a whole different subdivision than Michael Vaughn. Michael Vaughn lived on the opposite side. He lived on 9th Street. We lived off of I think it was called Pintail Avenue or something like that. I don't remember exactly what the street that led into our subdivision was. It's been so long, but we stopped and asked what was going on, and they told us, and we're like, that's really weird. And I was in the process of trying to get Brandon's car dismantled from, or detached from, my truck. And Brandon and Sarah had gone and looked for Michael while I was doing that. I offered to go help, and they're like, no, we'll just go out and do it. And I was like, okay. So they took off on foot. Carson's truck, mind you, I know that was a question.
So here's another inconsistency. Brandon told me that him and Sarah drove around in the car. And here Stacy is saying that Sarah and Brandon took off on foot to go look for Michael when they got back to the house. Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, he's going to go into how when they pulled up, they pulled up in front of, along the curb in front of the house, and that Brandon and Sarah wouldn't have even been able to use a vehicle to go out to look for Michael. They would have had to use, go out on foot because he was blocking the driveway to the vehicles. He tells names of roads different. Yeah. Yes, this interview is an old interview. It was about a little over a year ago. We're just going back over, his interviews, finding contradictions. Now that we know more, because Brandon has talked again recently, more because we know more about what Stacy has said as far as like his confession footage and everything else. So we're just going to go through. Brandon told JLR they borrowed the Starkey's truck because it had a light bar. Yes. And Stacy says that Carson would never allow anybody to use his truck. And I also believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Carson himself said he didn't loan out his vehicle to anybody. But I also can't remember if Brandon said they borrowed Starkey's truck or if he told Carson, you need to get your truck out there and look for that boy or something to that effect. I know that's what he set up on my panel. Not sure what he set up on JLR. So then there might be some inconsistencies there as well.
Question a lot of you guys had. Carson's truck was never used that night. Carson has a truck, yes, with a light bar on it, but it was never, Carson would never let his truck out.
And there you have it. Stacy saying Carson would never let his truck out. Thank you, Slim.
I tried asking him to borrow his truck a couple times in the past, just to do like when I don't know, it was stupid. I don't remember exactly, but there was just there was times where I'd asked if I could borrow his truck. I think when like one of our vehicles were down or something like that.
As far as we know right now, we don't know of any other people, the RSOs or anything being involved in Monkey's abduction. No. But we do know law enforcement has said that there could be more people involved besides these 4 suspects, Sarah and Stacy Wandra, Brandon Shurtleff, and Adrien Lucian. Thank you for being here, Blue Heron. Nice to see you.
But he wouldn't even let that happen. So I know for a fact that he would not let his truck go out just with anybody.
Good to see you.
He wouldn't even let it go happen with me. He doesn't even let his best friend take his truck. So they went out and looked for him and came back and said they found nothing.
Now, hang on. Who went out with him and said they found nothing?
Sarah and Brendan went out together.
Were they walking?
They were on foot, correct. From what I understood, yes. I wasn't a witness to them leaving in a vehicle, because I had the driveway blocked off with the truck in Brandon's car, so they couldn't really leave the driveway. The truck was taking up the lengthwise of the full size of the driveway, because I had the truck and then I also had Brandon's car behind. So I was working on getting that all undone. So they didn't have access to taking a vehicle to go get it, to go look for him. So they went out on foot.
Okay, well, here's a map.
I want to pause real quick. We've got Opal saying found nothing because they knew where to not look, in my opinion. Yep. Thank you, Opal, for that. Yeah. I mean, they're not going to find anything. They already knew where Michael was, right? And I mean, and if Chris Madonna in his statement during that confession is spot on, we know that Michael went to the Kuna house that night and somebody got up that next morning and went and got Michael and brought him back to the house or something. Sarah's suspicious. If he knows he won't loan his truck out, then why is he saying? He asked him more than one occasion to borrow it after being told by him no the first time, and knowing he doesn't loan it out, why keep asking? Good point. I mean, and as far as I know, that is something that Brandon has said, or that Stacy has said, is that they had asked him to take that truck out and to go look Hello. Psychosocial, good to see you. Okay, we'll continue.
The red dot is where you used to live, and
Yep.
where it says the other red dot where it says Vaughn family home.
Yep. Yeah, so that's literally that's on. They live off of 9th Street. I live off. That's so where that road is. That's 9th Street, and then you literally can go on 8th. So you have to, in order to get to 9th Street, you can get there two ways. You have to come in from the subdivision. So that road right there, that curves. You see the right where between family and home, that road right there. So that is not I-95. So you pull into the subdivision. There's a road right there, right directly below the letter U in Vaughn. That road right there. That's
I want to go forward some because when I watch this, it just confuses people. And I went over an amazing timeline of that neighborhood, and I don't want him and Brooks going back and forth to confuse anybody about the neighborhood, because there's just there. I don't know. It's a confusing place right there to watch. So we're just going to fast forward through that. Just like we're going to fast forward through anything when, you know, Brooks wants to talk about people boinking each other. I just don't even want to hear it. Thank you, Chaos Mama, for coming in. He keeps asking because he probably was always given his way. If he asked people enough, they just give in because he's annoying. Very good statement there. Thank you. Yeah, that just totally makes sense. He probably, you know, when he was younger would just ask and ask, but mom, and would eventually get his way or something
Like that. If anyone's in here attacking our guest, you're going to be timed out. He's here to tell his story. So
correct.
Start with one question, and if you can answer it, great. If you can't, then no.
Ask.
Okay. Sarah wanted Brandon to give her a baby.
Correct.
Oh, good. I'm not doing this.
So you knew about that.
So, I mean, yeah, you do what you need to do. Well, then 1 week, you know, couple to put it, lying bitch that I've ever been with him. There's no hesitation. Like, you know, you did what you did. You threw me and you got me arrested for having my gun. Sarah, it turned into like a dispute. The cops got called. Sarah ended up getting arrested that night. I didn't. I was still in jail. She snitched on me for it. And because she held our tenant, Tanner Butler, who was also staying with us at the time. Yeah. She snitched on me for it. Tried to contact me, and then in November, I mean, she put it, lying bitch that I've ever been with in my life. She just.
Sorry, guys. I just didn't want to go over the whole, like, Sarah slept with so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so, and this had to do with the fact that, you know, Sarah wanted a baby, because I think it's a crock of shit. I don't believe that Sarah was trying to have a baby. I think she's just boinking to boink. In my opinion, that's just how I feel about it, and I just don't want to sit here and talk about it.
Destroyed me as a person. You know, she then continuously fucked Brandon even after I got arrested, and she got released on that pretrial release before she was rearrested in November. I mean, because Sarah had tried to contact me through the phone because her fucking mom gave her my number. Tried to contact.
You know, and somebody brought up something here recently too, because Sarah was arrested and then she got out, and then she was rearrested. And somebody said something to me recently, and I can't remember who it was. And I don't know if it was in chat, a message, or what, but they said, you know, something about if Sarah had been in jail and if law enforcement was hounding her, talking to her about Michael's abduction at that time, even though she was in there for unrelated charges, it was all for the GUN stuff. If they were going at her about Michael, when she got out, could she have then spoke to Brandon like they're on to us or something to that effect? And that's when they take it upon themselves before she goes back to jail to move Michael. Now, I'm not saying this is factual or whatnot, but it would make sense. She's in jail already. Is law enforcement talking to her about Michael's abduction versus the gun stuff? And yeah, she just is like, oh my God, they're onto us. We got to move him, blah, 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 because, you know, because he's in the backyard. So I thought when I heard this, wow, okay, well, then maybe that was the reason why Michael got moved. Like I said, this isn't factual. Somebody just mentioned it. This is part of this person's own theory, but that is a great theory on how it all came together or why Michael would have been moved. And it's one theory out of like a lot of theories. But I never heard that or thought about it myself. So, and I, at the time when I heard this, just this last week, actually, I did not know Sarah got put in jail, released, and then went back to jail. Even though I know so much inside and outs about this case, I did not know that. Yeah, could be very possible. Yeah, that's a great possibility. You would think you would see recent digging. 100%, right? Halo art. Yeah, everybody. I mean, yeah, it is something to really think about. Like, was she questioned while she was in jail that first time? You know, okay, we got her in jail. Let's talk to her about Michael Vaughn while she's in here. Who knows, right?
Contact me and then pretty much tried to apologize for throwing me out of the bus. And I'm sorry. I'm like, I didn't mean to. I didn't have that intention. And I was like, yeah, but you fucking did. There's not, there's no hesitation. Like, you did what you did.
He's talking about getting thrown under the bus by Sarah because once she gets put in jail, she starts ratting on Stacy about them selling the GUN at the pawn shop. And he's not even supposed to have one. So, yeah, he's irritated and pissed off. I mean, she threw him under the bus when he gave the tip to law enforcement to go to the house and look for Michael, right? Stacy did it. Stacy buried him. Adrien is the one who hurt Michael, according to that affidavit. The Almighty God told her so.
You threw me and you got me arrested for having my gun. Yeah, I mean, she snitched on me for selling my gun. That's what it was. That's why I went to fucking jail. She snitched on me for it, and then and some of y'all are confused about the time frames that she got arrested when I got arrested. So she was arrested April 13th of 2022, which was the day of our anniversary, because she held our tenant, Tanner Butler, who was also staying with us at the time, at gunpoint, threatened him and told him that he had to fucking leave and all this other shit. And if he wasn't going to leave, she was going to kill him. So Sarah it turned into like a dispute. The cops got called. Sarah ended up getting arrested that night. I didn't. I was still home. But they
Now hold on. So you were still home on what date?
no, this wasn't the day of his disappearance. This is the day of our anniversary, April 13th of 2022. This is when Sarah got arrested for the failure to report, or for she got charged with assault and battery, attempted concealment of, or attempted destruction of evidence, and possession of a controlled substance. She had
So Baby Kisses says they had 3 people staying there. Well, it was Sarah, Brandon, Stacy, Adrien. Tanner Butler was somebody that I think either, if anybody in chat can tell me, like, was he there visiting? Did he stay there just a little bit? From what I understand, he may have stayed there a little bit, but more so a visitor, a back and forth visitor. I'm not sure on that, so I don't want to really talk about how long Tanner Butler was there, if he like stayed there and lived with there or what. Not sure. And I just didn't catch him say that.
hydrocodones in her purse that were in a bag. She put them in a bag because the bottle had gotten moisture inside of it and the pills were getting wet. So she took them out and put them in a napkin, put them in a Ziploc baggie to dry them out. Which it was beyond my knowledge. I don't even know why she would do that. And it was to hit her with like a class C narcotic or something like that. But because it was a prescription, but she didn't have them in the bottle they were supposed to be. So she got charged with like 3 charges that night. So she went to jail at Payette County. Sorry, I'm gonna turn the heater on. It's cold.
Domestic pinup, I don't know if you're talking about the pills or not, but I call BS on the pills too. I think that the whole pill thing, I think she had pills. I mean, we already know that they were all doing drugs and whatnot. I'm actually wondering if Sarah's constant. I mean, my daughter has been clean off of heroin for 12 years now. So I know a little bit about the drug world and how it works and whatnot. And when you do drugs, you can go in and out of the ER all the time to try to get medication. Well, we know prior to this, she was in and out of the hospital. Is that where these Vicodin or these hydrocodones came from or whatever? Is she using them the way she's supposed to? Or is this, just drugs that they're doing? I've always disagreed or, thought bullshit on this also. They are in a bag for a reason because clearly she didn't have a prescription for them. Come on. Yeah, I like everybody just right? In a bag for a reason. Exactly, Ink. Thank you.
And then I did not get arrested until about a month later. So there was less than a month. It was probably 16 days later. They came and hit me. I got pulled over because I got a phone call that morning. I didn't get pulled over, sorry. I got a phone call that morning from Fruitland Police Department saying, hey, you can, your phones are able to be picked up because they had confiscated all of our phones. So they were like, your phones are good to be picked up. You can come and get them. When can you pick them up? I was like, well, I'm in town all day. I'll pick them up at 9:00 tonight.
So, hey, let's talk about this, okay? We've talked about this before in the past, but there are a lot of new people here, going over this case and stuff with me now. So, in April, Sarah goes to jail. She throws Stacy under the bus. In May, Stacy goes to jail. They took Sarah and Stacy's phones. Now, other creators, I can't remember now who the creators were when we were all talking about this. I believe it was on, I don't know, it could have been Spirit Seeker or Crime Sleuthen, or I really don't know who it was. But they took their phones. Is this when could this be around the time that they start figuring out that there's a possibility that the Wandra's home or the Wandras are involved in Michael's abduction? Because they've get them in there on charges for the gun, but they also now have their phones. Did they find something in there? Don't know, but they had their phones. And Stacy's pissed off at Sarah for throwing him under the bus. So yes, like Hot Mess is saying, could that be why, Sarah wants Michael's body moved because she knows he's pissed off at her? Yeah, he is definitely stumbling over his words here. Okay, let's move forward.
Which was May 6th of 2022, 2020, April, May, yeah, 2022. So I went down to the police.
Ink, I don't know if they had burner phones or not. I've heard people talk about it, but I've never verified it, and I don't know if it's true or not. But I mean, if they had burner phones, then there again, if they had burner phones, what are they doing? What are they doing that they need burner phones? That would be suspicious. And then if law enforcement didn't get a hold of them, what value would those phones have? Probably lots, because you're going to have burner phones if you're doing nefarious things, right? You're doing shit you're not supposed to be doing, obviously, if you got burner phones. You don't want law enforcement to be able to track you, to hear you, or, whether you're selling drugs or doing other things. And, we already know, right? Voices saying, I bet you they did. Yeah. I can't remember if they did or not. Thank you for bringing that up, though, Ian, because, yeah, that's really suspicious if they did.
Station in Fruitland, called dispatch because it was 9 o'clock at night. Called dispatch, told them that I was there to pick up my phones. Law enforcement met me outside, and then I had my dog with me at the time, Oakley, the one that you guys have pictures of. I then was told to get out of the car and asked to show my ID for verification. It was like a setup, and they arrested me for felon in possession of a firearm.
Hold on one second, people. We've got a new member in the house, so we got to party down. Thank you so much, Past, for renewing your membership. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We can't do this, or I can't do this without you.
So Sarah had narked on me for having a gun before she got arrested. And then they ran my name in the system, found out that I was a previous felon. And then they were like, you weren't supposed to have a gun. Well, I didn't even have the gun in the presence of the cops. Sarah told them that I went and sold the gun to a gunsmith in New Plymouth, which I did because we needed the money. So I sold the gun to the gunsmith for $475, and came back home. That was April 12th that I sold it, 2022.
I mean, come on, how ignorant can you be? You're not supposed to be having the GUNs anyway, so why do you have them? And not only do you have them, you're selling them, but you're sitting here bitching, moaning, and groaning about Sarah throwing you under the bus when it's actually all your damn fault that you end up in jail for it all because you're not supposed to have them anyway. He cannot in any way, shape, or form. Hey, Pass, good to see you. Thank you so much for becoming a member. He cannot take, what's the word I'm looking here? Yep, I'm losing my words. He just can't admit to anything that he does wrong, ever, never. He can't hold himself accountable. Sorry, there you go. That's what I was trying to say.
So the next day, Sarah gets arrested, tells on me for selling the gun to the gunsmith. The same day, she assaulted Tanner, and she gets arrested.
And then talk about that too. Sarah isn't this. By the way, I actually have some more information I want to share here soon anyway. But Sarah isn't innocent, okay? She is not a non-violent person. I actually found some court docs talking about her charges on menacing, being a menace. So that's pretty much like threatening people to harm them, and those are charges in Oregon. And here she's holding a GUN to somebody's head. I mean, come on. Sarah is a violent criminal. She snaps. I mean, is it not crazy? I mean, she's constantly threatening to cause harm to other people. Stacy has even talks about the fact that she has tried numerous times and put GUNs up to him and threatened to hurt him as well. So Sarah isn't this person she portrays to be. Sarah, uses her godlike attitude to deflect away from the person that she really is. She is very, very dangerous. Dangerous is a great word. Dangerous.
Arrested. I get arrested on May 6th, which was a Friday, at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock at night. And that's when my journey began in jail.
Well, some people say that Tanner is the one that snitched on you, not Sarah.
No, Sarah snitched on me. Tanner confirmed it. So Tanner was like her.
So we got an inconsistency here that Hot Mess notices. He said in a different interview that Sarah hid the GUN from him and he never knew it was ever in the house before she used it with the neighbor. Yeah, and I mean, and after this incident too, with Tanner, she does this and then she hides the GUN in her mom's house. And that's the reason why she gets in trouble for trying to conceal something, because she has taken this GUN, taken it to her mom's house and concealed it. And, shame on her mom for also doing that, hiding that, concealing that. I'm telling you, if people in this case have hindered this investigation, J.D. Huff has said that people are going to go down. A little off subject from the gun, but I'm just saying, I think some of these parents of Sarah, Stacy, and Brandon know things that they should be coming forward with. Adrien's mom passed away in like 2016 or 17, I believe. But yeah, I really believe that there are parents that know things that they should be coming forward and telling the family or law enforcement what they know, if it can help in any way, shape, or form. And even if they think that it can't help, at least opening up to law enforcement and letting them know, what they've been told by their kids or whatnot. And I know no parent wants to do that. I unfortunately am not one of those parents. If I knew my kid had something to do with something like kidnapping a child, abducting a child, I'm going to be the first one to be like, okay, this is what happened. Sorry you're involved, but now we need to go talk to law enforcement. You need to tell them everything you know, and then I'll be there for you if you do this, if you do the right thing. But if you get arrested later on because you don't move forward, sorry, I'm going to have to go down to law enforcement. I'm going to have to tell them what I know. And when or if you get arrested, I may or may not be there for you because you have to do the right thing. And that is what I also believe to be important, because we have to take responsibility for our children. It's not, even if they are adults, you can't keep secrets. You can't, not when it comes to a missing child. Let's see. Someone says, Slim, that's a good question. Let me go back and see what I can see by Slim. Sarah's foster family is in Oregon. Was that charge from something she did to them? I don't think so. I don't know 100% Slim. But yes, it was charges from Oregon when she's got two different menacing. It's like menacing in the 3rd degree and then just a regular menacing. So I'm not sure if that has to do with her foster family or not. Great question though. Toxic people doing toxic things always equal out to be this type of behavior, in my opinion, Inc. says. Absolutely. It was the same interview. He was asked if Sarah could have hidden Michael without him knowing, and Stacy said yes. Hot Mess says, yes, the parents are just as bad. Pam, thank you for being here. Yes, kids need consequences. Absolutely. I mean, hey, Mama B, what's up? Good to have you here. It is really, that's just me as a parent. That's what I would do. I'm not keeping secrets like that because I don't want to end up in prison. I don't want to end up in jail for knowing something that happened that my child did and not saying anything, because that's what happens. Your ass goes to jail. I'm sorry. I ain't not going to jail for one of my kids and something that they did. You have to take ownership of what you did. That's what I've taught my children their whole lives. And even if it's bad, you still have to take ownership of that. You have to take accountability for yourself. And all my children have children. So not only that, they would have to, show accountability for themselves to show their children what you need to do in this kind of situation. Even if you didn't have anything with the abduction or the harm of that child, if you know anything, you still need to come forward. It all matters.
What do you word it? Like her backup information person, I guess. I don't know what the word is. But he confirmed everything that Sarah said. And so, yeah, so it was Sarah that started the snitching. They're throwing me under the bus. And then Tanner, they asked Tanner about it, and Tanner confirmed it.
Well, this is going to be a hard question, and if you can't answer it, I understand.
Okay.
Was Tanner and Sarah also together?
No. Not that I know of. There was never any sexual discussion. Of course, Sarah wasn't always up in front and honest with me about anything, but I don't see Sarah. I didn't see Sarah as that. As Tanner being of interest to her.
Elianka, thank you for joining. Was the Sierra truck really repossessed? Where's the receipts? Or did they return it to the dealership to avoid the evidence from a search warrant? I'm not sure how the search warrant works, and I really hope they were able to, you know, search that vehicle. But you would think that if a dealership did end up getting it back or whatnot, that the dealership would either say, here, yeah, go ahead, or, you know, a judge would say, yes, we need a search warrant for that vehicle. Don't know if it was really repossessed or not. We're just going off of the words of Stacy Wandra, and we all know that he is a lying, you know, POS. So there's that.
He just wasn't like, I don't know, like as a guy, I'm not trying to sound weird. I'm not gay. He just,
Why does he say that? Really? Just like when he's up on my panel with Brandy out of nowhere, he says, I've never had any charges for SA. So here's another one, and I'm going to write down the timestamp on this because, so this is, we're only 32 minutes. You guys see how long, I mean, like, how much inconsistencies or things we've had to talk about. This is a 2-hour and 31-minute video, and we've only gotten into 32 minutes, and look how much stuff we've been able to go through already. And at 32:19, he talks about not being gay, which really, why would he say that? Doesn't matter to me if he is or not, but why does he feel like he needs to say that?
I know Sarah's preference, and doesn't sound like he would fit that criteria. Then again, before Sarah got married to me, all she dated was black people, so I have really no room to really say much.
Now, what about the rumors about threesomes? But
Some says here, Sam, Tanner Butler played high school football in New Plymouth, same town Sarah took the pew-pew to a gunsmith. Okay, thank you for that info. Got another message here. Okay. Let's keep moving.
between you, Brandon, and her.
Never had a threesome a day in my life.
Okay.
It was called the love triangle. If that's what you're, I'm here to answer questions and answer the questions that people have.
All right. Well, on July 27th, 2021, did you, Brandon, or Sarah drive?
All right, take care, Ian. Thank you for showing up and being here for Michael. I appreciate you coming in.
Drive on 9th Street?
No. I know personally I didn't. I cannot speak for Brandon or Sarah. So I don't know. I can't speak for them. Like I said, I will not lie about somebody. Like I told you this morning, I know personally I didn't. I cannot speak for Brandon or Sarah. I know personally I didn't like that.
Well, I apologize for bringing that up. We do
No,
have
no, don't be. Like you, I'm here to answer questions and answer the questions that you. I'm here to answer questions and answer the questions that people.
21. Did you, Brandon, or Sarah drive on 9th Street?
No. I know personally I didn't. I cannot speak for Brandon or Sarah. So I don't know. I can't speak for them. Like I said, I will not lie about somebody. Like I told you this morning, I will not lie or speak on somebody's behalf if I don't know the truth to it.
Did you ever stop on 8th in Arizona that night?
Correct. On the way out of the subdivision, we did. We were in the truck. The truck, I always had to put power steering in the truck because the power steering pump was going out. It had a high it's called the.
He talks about the high pressure still for a second.
Carson's truck or
No, the burgundy truck. Well, my truck,
Oh,
the GMC
I'm sorry.
Sierra.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
sorry. No, I'm okay. You're fine. You're not doing anything wrong. I mean, you're being transparent. You're clearing everything up.
That's all I'm here to do. Want people to know, like, I'm not what it seems to be. That's why I'm doing this, because I want people to be like, okay, like he's really being serious.
Oh, we know. Trust me, we know you're serious. Okay, now I want to ask you something. Again, if there's something that you don't feel comfortable answering.
Yes, he does. Blue herring. He confuses himself with his own lies. And Connie says, won't lie, more like won't tell the truth. When does he tell the truth?
Then don't.
Okay.
I know several people have talked to Adrien, and he said that he was in a sexual relationship with Sarah.
Oh my gosh, can we get past the sexual stuff?
The best way I can. We've had our arguments or disagreements or our troubles. I mean, who doesn't in a marriage? I mean, you're bound. I mean, if you don't have troubles or arguments in a marriage, then there's something wrong. I don't. Not one perfect. There's not one perfect marriage. Without that has absolutely nothing but just solitude and solidity and you know um it's just made 100% of happiness. You're gonna have your downfalls. It's just a part of life. And Sarah and I had a lot of those, but never once. I mean,
Pam, that's a good question. Why didn't Brandon take his dirty washing with him the day and put it in the wash when he was at his mother's house filling up the water bottle, then pick it up back that evening when they went back to Kuna to tow the truck? So, yeah, good question.
there was never a time that I felt the need to lie to her or um hide shit from her. I was open about everything with her.
Did you want to have a child, or was it more Sarah?
Oh, you can judge a marriage all you want, domestic pinup. I mean, come on. What man allows his wife to sit there and sleep with a bunch of men in the house? Just saying.
It was Sarah. I was in agreement because of her wanting a child. Um, but I even told Sarah, I was like, look, we're not in a financial situation to have a kid right now. I said, and she's like, I've only got a certain time frame left before I can't have kids anymore. I said, I get that. And she basically pretty much coerced me and was like, yeah, we're going to have a kid. And I was like, oh, fine. Like, so that's, I mean, that's what I have on that. Uh, I don't really know. I just know Sarah was very deceitful, very dishonest, very disloyal, um, untrusting, violent. Um, Sarah was very aggressive towards me, like I was telling you this morning, Brooks. Sarah was very aggressive and abusive towards me. um, she held me down on the couch when I was laying down on my stomach. She held me down on the couch with a butcher knife to my throat. Also, a time where she held me at gunpoint with a loaded 12 gauge shotgun with a slug in the chamber. There's not. She was not a kosher person. She was a fake. And I told my mom so many times. I was like, Mom, like I'm not comfortable being married to her anymore. And there was times where she was like, what do you need? I said, I just need out. So I mean, and then I would leave, and then something about Sarah would bring me back. It's out of stupidity.
Hey, Wist, good to see you. I don't know about you guys, but I want to take a break here. Let's stop sharing for a second because I get just sick of looking at Stacy, okay? I just get sick of him. All right, so I would much rather look at Monkey and let's throw up some monkeys and some hearts and prayers for Monkey Justice. And let's throw up some prayers for Brandy. She is not doing very well right now. Can't give out specifics, but today is not a good day for Brandy. If you have any tips about Michael Joseph Vaughn's abduction, please come forward and give a tip to Fruitland Police at 208-642-6006, or you can email findmichael@fruitland.org. You can remain anonymous. There is a tip line or a reward over $52,000 for any information, leading to Michael. If you know something, say something. If you heard something, say something. I mean, there are 4 suspects in this case: Sarah and Stacy Wandra, Brandon Shirtliff, Adrien Lucian. These are the 4 suspects. That was updated January 10th of 2025. They are still suspects. There may or may not be more people involved in Michael's abduction. We do know that the DA has met with the Vaughn family and has told Brandy and Tyler that charges are coming. Brandy read the charges. They have to dot their I's, cross their T's, and get all of the information and paperwork done before they can put out indictments. That's what they're doing right now. They're doing everything that they can to bring Michael justice. They're working hard in Fruitland to make sure that, Michael gets the justice that he deserves and that this family, the Vaughn family, gets peace. So again, if you know something, please say something and call that tip line at 208-642-6006 or email Fruitland or find Michael at fruitland.org. It's not hard to call in a tip. It's not hard to tell somebody something that you know. It could be big, it could be small, but you don't know what it is. You don't know if it's big or small, and that's why you need to turn in the tip. Brandy has begged anybody and everybody that has anything to do with Michael's abduction to please come forward and tell law enforcement what you know. Adrien, if you were set up, man, come forward. Tell law enforcement what you do know. If you didn't have anything to do with the abduction or the death, then come forward. Say something. Brandon, we've been talking and text messaging each other and stuff. And I've told you before, the best thing that you can do is if you have any information that you could give law enforcement or the Vaughn family, please come forward and give that information to law enforcement and let's bring justice to Michael. Like, one of you 4 suspects could be Michael's hero. Be the hero in this case. Be a hero for your children. Brandon, you got 1 on the way. You already have a daughter. Adrien, I know you have children, so be the hero. Let your kids grow up knowing you were a hero, not a monster. If you know anything, please, please, please call law enforcement. 208-642-6000 or 6006. Sorry. Again, that's 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. It only takes a minute. Brandy would love to know that law enforcement has what they need for like 100% no. They have a good solid case or they wouldn't even be moving forward. But another good tip that could come in or that does come in could just be the one thing that they need, you know, that's really gonna just put them all away for good. So make sure to call in that tip. We're praying for Brandy today. She's very ill and sick. She's got some stuff going on today. She's not doing well. So please pray for her today. I appreciate everybody so much for the prayers for the Vaughn family and for Brandy today. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Blue Herring. Samantha, where do you think Adrien fits into this? Do you think he was the, quote, mastermind? He seems like the smartest, criminally speaking, because he has been silent. You know, I don't talk too much about my theories, but I can tell you this. Adrien is the one person in all of this that has stuck with his original statements, which are he was set up. Was he set up? I don't know if he was set up, but he is the only one. Hey, Callie Dime, nice to see you here, hun. Thank you for coming. I don't know if he was set up or not. He says he was, and he has always stuck to that story, and he's been saying it since the very beginning. Do I believe that Adrien was there in that house for nefarious reasons? Yes, I believe that Adrien was there. I believe that they made plans for some kind of, again, you guys, this is my own theory. I believe that they were trying to do some kind of prostitution thing, or maybe even sex traffic at some young girls or something. I think that might have been the plan. And I think one of these suspects took it upon themselves that day to do something different that wasn't part of their plan. And I think that's how all this shit started. I don't believe that Adrien is 100% innocent. I do think that he knows something that happened. What that is, I don't know. But I do believe he knows something. I believe that Brandon knows something. I'm not sure who took Michael. I'm not going to theorize about that. I don't know who hurt Michael, and I'm not going to theorize that. I don't know who buried Michael in the backyard or who moved him. But I do believe that there was a plan. And I believe that plan was to probably take teenage girls of some sort or something like that. And it turned into something else. Somebody made the decision when they saw Michael playing outside by himself. I know that they were at a splash pad. I know that Stacy was at a skate park. Skate parks usually have older children, but splash pads have younger children. So I don't know. Thank you guys for the prayers for Brandy. Mama B says, I do too, Sam. I feel like they all four are involved and guilty. Yes. I don't know who did what and how, but I believe they all play a part in something. Prayers and healing for Brandy. Brandy, we love you and your family so much. We will never stop fighting for Michael. No, we won't. We are Monkey's Army, and we're not ever going to stop. We're never going to stop, you guys. We're always going to make sure Michael deserves the justice that he's going to get. Well, we're going to make sure that Michael gets the justice that he deserves, and we're going to help bring peace to the family. No problem. I love speaking my opinion. It's very hard to do sometimes. Evil Alaska. Adrien is a modern day pimp. He makes the deal transactions. Stacy, Sarah, Brandon are the ones that finds the child. I was sold like this 5 years ago. Oh, good God. I am so sorry you went through that. Evil Alaska, I had no clue. I don't know that you've ever talked about that before. Sending love and prayers to you. Wow. What an awful thing to go through. Praying for you, hun. That's awful. Please give a thumbs up for coming in or going out today. Yeah, praying for you, Evil Alaska. Justice for Michael. Lots of love and light to Brandy. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. No need to explain everything. We totally understand that's probably a hard thing that you have to do. You know what, Evil Alaska, though? I will let you know, like, this is a channel for missing kids, and we do know that some kids that go missing, women that come up missing or whatnot, end up into the sex trafficking and stuff. I want to throw up my email just for you if you ever would like to talk about your story at all and come up on panel. I would love to have you here and you could tell your story. I know others here would also love to hear your story. You can email me if that's something you ever want to do. And not a big deal if you don't, but I'm just saying, you know, it may be something that you want to share, and it would bring great awareness to other teenage girls and women out there. So feel free to email me if you ever want to talk about it, and just wishing you, you know, the best of everything now. I'm glad you're safe now. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story with us here in chat. Brandon's interview with JLR, he kept saying he had to push the car down the hill so Stacy could hook up the tow strap. There is no hill. The driveway isn't even at a pitch. Okay. Thank you for letting us know. Yes, bring Michael home. We're praying for Brandy today. She's not doing too good. I can't give out any details, you guys. We're just trying to protect her privacy. We're just asking everybody to keep praying for Brandy today. I'm not sure how you can find out how you can be a donor. That's a question. Yeah, I'm not sure how you go about doing that. I'm sure you would have to either contact Brandy herself or, yeah, her doctor, a hospital or something. You can look into it and then maybe reach out. I'm not sure. Justice for Michael. Justice for Brandy. Prayers sent for Brandy. We love you. We absolutely do. All right. So I'm going to hop right back into this interview. Let's do another 30 or so minutes. We don't want to make the live too long because then the replay crew doesn't like coming and sitting here for, you know, 2-3 hours, and we're already at the 2-hour mark. Is everybody good? Does everybody want to keep moving forward? Thank you, Past, for gifting 1 PNW membership. If you received this membership from Past, can you say thank you? And we appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Love it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that, Past. Thank you so much. Alrighty. So yeah, how are you guys doing? Kelly, if you want to come, well, never mind. I'm not even going to ask you right now. I know today is a hard day, so let me see. How are you guys doing? You guys ready to move forward and watch some more of this video? This gagging, disgusting, gross interview. That's not directed towards Brooks in any way, shape, or form. That is completely directed towards, yep, everybody's okay. Let's move forward. That is directed towards Stacy Wandra. Like, who? Ugh. Just to go over everything all over again is just, yeah. All right, I'm gonna keep going.
It was lost. You know, like it's just very it's very hard being in that marriage, but you know, thankfully you know, I'm not together with her. She tries to call me every now and then from prison. She's currently located in
I talk to her every now and then. They were talking every single day up until this last time he went in, which was just in December, a few days before Christmas, if I remember correctly. They were talking every single day, all the time. And I'm sure she didn't, just like he's saying it wasn't great marriage or whatever. I'm sure he feels this way, but I'm sure Sarah feels the same way. She would talk about him, you know, being filthy, dirty, and gross. And I mean, Hot Mess has even told us what a disaster Stacy made her bedroom and her house when he moved in with her. So he's a disgusting person. So I'm sure this marriage wasn't working for either one of them either way, really.
Boise, at the South Women's Correctional Facility. I don't remember what the name of it, but you know, she's in there because of the things with Tanner. For 3 years. She'll be out. Her parole eligibility date is February 20th of 2026. But that doesn't mean she's going to get out then. You know, that's just when she will see the parole board.
Now, can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
Do you have any opinion why Sarah said you were involved?
Not at all. I know for a fact I wasn't even home. At the time frame that this little boy went missing, or I mean, I wasn't home throughout the day. And then there was nothing odd going on at our house even when I got home that night. So it makes no sense at all. Not one piece of it. I know for a fact it wasn't me. So I don't know where she's getting her little ridiculous pieces of information, but they've got the wrong person. I wasn't even home. And like I also told you this morning, Brooks, and
He clears his throat right there when he says I wasn't even home. And we know we've heard in other interviews that Stacy was home all day and didn't go anywhere either. A very, very, I mean, it's only spoken about briefly and only that one time. Something about he could have been back at the house, you know, waiting for phone calls or whatever for taxi.
I'll let everybody know on here.
Hi, Sally. Good to see you, hon.
3 people on May 19th of 2022 got polygraph tests on behalf of Michael Vaughn. That was Sarah, Brandon, and me. Out of the 3 people that got tested, I was the only one to pass the polygraph test.
I just, you know, did they all take polygraphs? I don't know. Did he pass polygraph? I don't know. Does anybody know? Never ever heard any, never been able to verify at all that they even took polygraph tests.
Sarah and Brandon had failed it. So I just want to put that out there for everybody, just so you guys have an idea. Unfortunately, in the eyes of Idaho, I don't know everybody else, but in the eyes of Idaho law, a polygraph is not admissible in court unless
He does say that he was out doing taxi that day, that he met up with Labor Dave that day, but we also know he's at another park in Payette for 2 to 3 hours, something like that. It's either 3 hours or 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. Anyway, 2 to 3 hours at that park. He's at the splash pad. We have for sure from his phone showing that he's at that skate park in Payette, which is kitty corner from the Albertsons where Brandy was working at the time. So, I mean, he says there's a lot of stuff, but I believe it was Brandon that said something, not that he was home. He just makes some comment in the interview with me, something to the effect of, could have been waiting at the house for taxi calls or something, but he wasn't sure.
it is deemed that you failed it. So
I've thought the same thing, Chaos Mama. Like, if he actually took a polygraph test, maybe he did pass it. Who knows? Because he lies so often. And I think he actually is one of those liars that almost believes his own lies. Like, maybe he could be one of those people that could pass the polygraph test, right? I feel the same way.
I don't know. I'm appalled. I'm very appalled. Like I told you this morning as well, I want justice for this little boy. I want this little boy to come back home to his mother and father.
His name is Michael.
It tears me up inside. I hurt badly because I want this little boy to be with his family. I would kill somebody if that happened to my kid. So I can only imagine what they're going through.
How old is your baby?
He is so uncomfortable here, the way he's clearing his throat, looking up. I mean, and it's disgusting to hear him say all of this. It was the same shit that he wanted to tell Brandy up on panel when he came up on my show. I mean, it's disgusting to hear him talk like this, that he hurts. No, you don't hurt. Brandy hurts. Tyler hurts. Buggy, Blue, Michael's older brother, the family, Papa, they all hurt. They are all hurting. They are all in pain. They are all heartbroken because Monkey's gone. Kill somebody if you did that to, if someone did that to your child. How do you think the Vaughn family feels? I'm sure they wouldn't mind getting their hands on one of you guys or all of you guys. Come on now.
I don't have a baby.
Oh, you said my kid. Okay.
No, I was saying like in general, like if that was me in that situation and somebody took my kid, I would kill somebody.
Did law enforcement ever ask you where Michael is buried?
Did it what?
Did law enforcement ever ask you where Michael is buried?
Yeah, I told him I don't have any idea.
I don't have any idea. Look at that scrunch face. Like, I'm thinking right now. No, Stacy, you gave the confession. It's on footage. You gave the tip. We know you gave the tip because Hot Mess recorded your ass telling her that you called law enforcement to tell them about the tip. You weren't coerced to say anything to law enforcement for 4 or 5 days. They didn't bring you to tears. They didn't huff and puff and get you to say something. You gave the tip because you wanted a deal. You wanted to give up Michael in your backyard so that you didn't get the death penalty or so that you didn't have to spend the rest of your life in prison. Law enforcement asked you. You did tell them after you made the phone call and they came to see you. The confession footage proves it. You're working with law enforcement at the time. And we know that you were talking to them prior to that because of the stuff that Chris Madonna is saying in that confession footage. So we know you must have talked to law enforcement and said lots and lots of stuff. There's more to all of that. He's such a liar. Yeah, for the Vaughn family to have to hear bulldozers in the Wandra's yard and not do anything is a miracle. I would have gone completely ballistic, right? Who wouldn't have?
They asked me about our backyard, and I said that's not even possible. There's no trench marks. There's no dig marks. There's absolutely no. There's nothing. There's not even. I mean, there's nothing at all in our backyard. Even by the shed that people are questioning about, that shed was there on our property since we moved there. That house belonged to Sarah's mom and dad, and we were there since June of 2020.
20 of 20. Okay. And
Correct.
when did Adrien move in approximately?
It's like a year later, I want to say like June, early July.
And how did you guys come across him? Because he has an issue with, human trafficking.
I told you that this morning. So Sarah,
We have no verifiable proof whatsoever that Adrien was involved in human trafficking, but we can connect him to a lot of RSOs. We can connect Adrien with the Pope twins who have done trafficking, sex trafficking. We can wonder why Adrien's brought there. Stacy and Brandy in the interview here on my channel talked about there being some kind of app that Adrien spoke with Sarah about to download to, was it for prostitution? Was it, for scamming people out of money and whatnot. So I do believe, and if you look at Adrien's profiles on Instagram and stuff, and he's constantly changing around. He uses a lot of women's profile pictures. It's almost like he's catfishing with women's pictures to collect money and doing those kinds of things. So we don't know 100% human trafficking is involved because Stacy himself says law enforcement told him, which I don't think law enforcement's going to share that with Stacy. So we don't know that to be 100% sure, but there's definitely something about Adrien, like why was he there? And he also says, Brandon says a few weeks before Michael's abduction, Adrien came. Stacy has said a month. He's also said 2 months. He gives, May, June, July. So we don't know really when Adrien shows up there, but we do know that Adrien had court in California on the 24th of July. So how could he be in California in court on the 24th of July and be at the Wandra's house? Did he go there and fly back to California? We don't know. Was it a Zoom court hearing? We don't know. But we do know there was something with court in California with Adrien on the 24th. So did he come to Fruitland afterwards? Was he only there for a few days? Or had Adrien been going back and forth for quite a while? Like, when did Adrien come? And Adrien wants to say that he came to visit his child. That's not why he came. Adrien came. He left August 20th, 21st. We know that for a fact. And he only saw his kid one time. The one and only time was at Applebee's. If you went to Idaho to visit your child, to get to know your child, you're there for your child, then why aren't you constantly and consistently seeing that child while you're there? Doesn't make sense. Is Adrien using Applebee's as, his little alibi for the day while everybody else is out looking for a child, for a teenager? What's going on?
had called me for I was at home at the time. I don't know. This was in June or early July. called me and said that, hey, I have a question for you. We need to talk. I have a taxi customer who called me asking if we would just help him out with a ride. He doesn't have any money at the time. But I'm really compelled to help him. He also doesn't have a place to live. He's staying behind a dumpster in Caldwell. Do you feel like we're in a position to help him out? My response to Sarah was this. I said, I do not feel comfortable. I said,
At some time, Brandon delivered Domino's pizza. I don't know when, but I know at one time he did deliver Domino's.
Our situation, you know that, yes, we do have a heart to help people. We love to help people. But we're not in a financial situation nor a physical ability to take on somebody else's, problems. She then approached me and was like, well, I really feel like this is God's calling, again, the whole God thing. God wants me to help him. God's telling me we should help him. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. Do what you want to do. I had told her specifically I was not okay with it. But being the person that she is and being the person I am, I suggested and told her that it wasn't okay. But she did it anyways. And as a result, he caused us problems.
Like what kind of problems besides?
Apparently he was fucking her behind my back. Like he would try to get us to scam people for, like I was telling you this morning, Brooks, scam people creating a false or a fake chat line and then hustling people for their money and taking their money from them through Cash App.
Oh, wow. He mentions here something about scamming people. Let's rewind this a little bit. Hold up.
And taking their money from them through Cash App. Like he would try to get us to scam people for, like I was telling you this morning, Brooks. Like he would try to get us to scam people. I suggested and told her that it wasn't okay. But she did it anyways. And as a result, he caused us problems.
Like what kind of problems besides?
Apparently he was fucking her behind my back. Like he would try to get us to scam people for, like I was telling you this morning, Brooks.
So here is another spot where Stacy, so he's saying scam people for money using Cash App. Okay, Brandy comes up on panel on Missing PNW here with Stacy and during her confrontation with him and asks him whether or not Adrien and Sarah were doing an app or something having to do with, she says ladies of the night, and I loved that. So yeah, there are some truths to the fact that there's apps and scamming going on through apps. Exactly what they are, we're unsure of at this point. By the way, if you want to become a Missing PNW whisperer or screamer, click that link that I put up for joining to become a member, please, if you're interested in that. And then I also just put up the Missing PNW Facebook, and I'm also going to put up Michael Vaughn's Facebook. Something interesting, if you guys want to know, on Michael Vaughn's Facebook had Adrien Lucian came in and threw up like a little heart and a flower or something. And I was just like, what the heck? And I looked and it really was his profile. I was trying to, I immediately stopped the comment section because I didn't want people harassing Adrien in case he decided that he wanted to talk or anything there on the Facebook group. But he then later deleted it. I have screenshots. I might throw it up one of our next lives or something to show you guys. But yeah, he later on deleted it. So he came into Michael Vaughn's Facebook group, my Facebook group, and yeah, just very strange. Came in, threw up a prayer, a broken heart. That was pretty much it. Left it there for a few weeks and then took it down. Very strange. But I'm going to put up Michael Vaughn's Facebook group that I run. And if you guys are interested in becoming that or Missing PNW, I did throw out my my email too. If you guys want to email me at all, anytime.
Scam people creating a false or a fake chat line and then hustling people for their money and taking their money from them on through Cash App. I mean, just those kind of problems, you know, stuff that, you know, Sarah and I didn't really want a part of. Sarah agreed to help him with it. I didn't, but it also never went anywhere, to my knowledge. And if it did, I sure as hell wasn't aware of it.
Slim says, Sam, Cash App probably has those transactions. My first Cash App was in 2023, is still accessible. Yeah, I mean, when did Cash App start? Was that available in 2021? Can anybody Google that real quick and let me know? I thought Cash App started shortly after the pandemic. I could be wrong. I'm new to Cash App, so just last year, so I'm not sure.
Is there any way I could see the chats that people are leaving, or is that just on your side?
Wild Cherry, thank you for being here.
Well, we're on StreamYard, so you probably can't, but I'm putting up questions and asking you questions as they come in.
Okay. I got you. Okay. Yeah.
I might be able to figure it out and change it. I mean, we have one question right here from Jesse. What brought...
Thank you, Domestic Pinup. It started October of 2013. Okay. All right. PayPal owns almost all of the Cash Apps. Baby Kisses says, thank you, Domestic Pinup, for looking that up. Really? Since I am such a dinosaur, you guys. Like, I'm a computer dinosaur. I'm just a dinosaur. I didn't know it had been around that long. That's crazy.
Law enforcement to your house for Michael Vaughn. Carson said cadaver dogs alerted at your front door.
No, so I I don't have any way to really answer that. I don't know.
And then he has to clear his throat. He gets all upset here when he is told that Carson, the next door neighbor, said that. And I have heard this also, that Carson said that cadaver dogs hit in front of Sarah and Stacy's house. He is so uncomfortable at this point.
I know that apparently, so the cadaver dogs hit. They didn't hit at the front door. The cadaver dogs, from what I'm being told and what I understand, the cadaver dogs had hit around the general premises of the neighborhood, like the property. Just because
property, the neighborhood. What property? Your property? Get it right, Stacy. He's so nervous right here.
As a cadaver dog, like Mike's.
And what the heck is a cadaver? Cadaver dog. Cadaver dog with a V.
Experience, you know, with and knowledge with law enforcement, like just because a cadaver dog hits on a certain on how do I word it?
Domestic Pinup, me too. I have to have information. Abracadabra dogs. Yeah, he says abracadabra dogs at one point too. I remember that. It's just ridiculous.
I don't have an answer for that, I guess. I don't
He can't come up with an answer for that, is what it is. He can't, because he cannot. You know, one of the things you don't want to bring up with Stacy is the cadaver dogs hitting in the backyard. Do you guys remember the interview with Justin Ferall and Josh from the lab up on Justin Ferall with him when they started talking about cadaver dogs and everything else? Like, anytime you try to talk to him about cadaver dogs, he tries to act like cadaver dogs can't anything 100%, right? And that's because if he admits even a tiny bit that cadaver dogs are good at what they do, then them hitting on the backyard makes him or someone there at the house look guilty, right? So he has to deflect away from cadaver dogs.
No. All I know is that I'm being told that the cadaver dogs hit around the property, but not on the property, if that makes sense.
Okay, but they're hitting around your property, Stacy. Why are they hitting around your property? Yes, smells can, you know, linger with the wind and everything else. And, you know, Carson said that the cadaver dogs hit around the front of their house. This is when Michael goes missing. This is not in November of 2022, over a year later, when he gives the tip and cadaver dogs come. These are dogs. There's search dogs, scent dogs, cadaver dogs, all looking for Michael the next day, of course, weeks after Michael disappears. And this is when one of these cadaver dogs hit at their house, the property. Explain that, Stacy. Explain how that can happen.
Sense. Like in the general concept of a neighborhood. Carson, I don't know why Carson would say anything such as the cadaver dogs alerting, because Carson wasn't even home that day. From what I remember, he was out doing his little painting thing that he.
Well, he did find a way to try to deflect from that. Now, Carson wasn't even home that day. How could that be true? Jesus.
Painting gig that he does. Carson's a professional painter. So he wasn't even home the night of this disappearance, or the day of this disappearance.
Was it day or night?
I don't know. I know Carson wasn't there at all that day, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I just got.
I have heard the same thing, that Brandy actually put a flyer on their door. I don't know that to be fact, but I have heard that before too. Maybe when Brandy's feeling better and stuff, maybe we can ask her.
Okay. That's okay. Yeah, no, I know that Carson has, full.
Yes, Chaos Mama, they hit at the front of that house, according to Carson. Never been able to verify this, but according to Carson, in front of the house at the Wandras when Michael came up missing, that day or the next day, but it was early on, from what I understand. And Callie Dime, she is so close to Brandy. They're pretty much sisters. They're connected, sisters from another mother. And Callie is saying Brandy did put a flyer on the Wandra's front door. Damn.
Full-time work job, But I also know, and I found this out through the detective as well, that Carson and his wife also are registered.
Baby Kisses, that's actually one of the other interviews that we're going to go over during this roundabout, because I also wanted to look at that interview with Brandy and Chris Madonna. And Baby Kisses is saying that Brandy did say that she did the flyer on the front of their door, and that was on the Chris Madonna's channel.
You're sex offenders. I didn't find that out until after I started getting questioned by the detectives.
Well, did you have any conversations with Carson, let's say a few days before Michael disappeared?
About what?
Anything.
I mean, Carson and I talked all the time, specifically, mainly about mechanic stuff.
Okay.
You know, or you know, him and I like to go, you know, shooting. You know, we would go shoot gophers down at the off of.
Rizzo, thank you for coming in. So Tina Marill's property, they went and searched that property. So we hear now in the confession footage that Stacy tells, you know, the investigators that are there looking for Michael, that if you don't find him in the backyard, maybe Michael got moved over to Brandon's mom's house. So when they don't find Michael at the Wandra's house, they go to Tina Marill's house. And that's Brandon's mom's house to look for Michael. And that's when the dogs alerted there at Tina Marill's. Now, Tina says that it was poop from her leaky toilet that they were smelling, but cadaver dogs, according, you know, well, they don't, not just according, but mountain search and rescue teams from Idaho came out and directly said, no, cadaver dogs do not hit on poop. They are not trained to hit on poop. They are trained to hit on, you know, the death scent. And that's what they hit on at Tina Marill's house. As far as, let me read the rest of your question. What about Tina's property? Does anyone know for sure if her yard was dug up? Has anyone pulled up Google Maps to see that it looks tan like the Wandra's yards? So my recent search of Tina Marill's house shows a great big garden, shows a backyard. I'm not seeing any kind of digging. We looked up several different years past to see if we could see anything disturbed. I'm sure if cadaver dogs hit there had to have been some kind of something digging, right? Dogs hit on something, they're going to look. That's my own assumption, and I don't know that for a fact, but I mean, I would assume law enforcement's going to dig somewhere or something if cadaver dogs are hitting, right? Callie Dime here says that Carson states in the first 2 minutes of his interview with JLR that the week that Michael went missing, the dogs went to the Wandra's front door. Okay, so in that first week, not the first or the second day, but sometime in that first week is what Carson says. Thank you, Kelly, for clearing that up. And yes, they do not alert on poop. That is just something that somebody else created. Yes, we do not know if Carson is correct. However, I did say that earlier too. That was just something that Carson had said. We have no proof of that, no verifiable proof. That's just something that he said. Okay, gonna move forward now. And I'm gonna close my blinds because the sun is getting in my eyeballs. Oh, wait, I can scoot over and still get that vitamin D. That's what I'll do.
Pearl Road. It's like going towards Parma. There's a giant piece of property where people go ride their dirt bikes or people there. I mean, it's just filled with gophers. Or whistle pigs. So we'd go shoot gophers. You know, so I don't know. I mean, 90% of the conversation with Carson was legitimately mechanic questions or mechanic conversations.
Well, and you guys are friends. I mean, he tried to basically disassociate himself from you and Sarah and the house, but Sarah said that Michael was buried.
Carson Starkey, Evil Alaska is his last name.
In his backyard, and that's not the case.
It makes no fucking sense. Again, where I want law enforcement to sit there and show everybody. I want them to show pictures of the grass. I want them to show the evidence, the ground penetrating surveillance. I want them to show where they see that there was a hole dug. Because I know for a fact that if you're going to dig a hole on a property, on some even grass of any sort.
And during his confession footage, we know he is literally on the phone with Chris and detectives while they are searching that backyard. I want detectives to show me. Bitch, you already saw it. You already saw it on the phone. You saw cadaver dogs hit in areas. You saw them digging. He literally says, oh my God, that's a lot of equipment. He talks about the equipment they're using, how much of it they're using. But here he wants to deflect so hard about it.
Or anything. It could be anywhere. You're going to leave a dirt trail. It's common sense. You're not going to just dig a hole and have absolutely no residue from it.
I can't ever say this word, but they did say anomalies. I don't ever say the word right. Damn it. I hate it. It's a word I'm so anomalies. Oh yeah. So that is when they are able to see that dirt has been, okay, like you're digging down in the dirt and the dirt has been moved around. When you go to fill back up a hole, the dirt doesn't get as compact as it would. And if anybody wants to spell that in the chat, you're more than welcome. I'm never going to say the word right. I cannot do it. I wish thank you. KS Mama, thank you, because I'm not joking when I say I cannot pronounce this damn word. Anomalies. There you go. Anomalies in the dirt. And when you're putting dirt back into a hole, it doesn't get so much more like compact. It's still loose in some places. They found that in the backyard, along with a rag in that backyard. A rag that seemed to make Stacy pretty damn nervous during that interview. But the way he's sitting here and deflecting and everything, like he literally sat and watched from a phone exactly what they were doing in that backyard after he gave that tip. This is ridiculous. Thank you guys for adding it to chat. I love you guys so much. I have like the most awesome chat. Thank y'all.
No remaining dirt left on the ground.
I have to say that over and over again. Anomalies. It's almost like, never mind. Anyway.
Well, I wonder who told them that, because Michael disappeared in July of 2021 and they started the dig in November of 2022. Obviously, say between rains and snow and grass growing back over, there wouldn't be.
But there would be. Especially if you're digging a deep hole. There are going to be things messed up in the dirt.
I don't know. I have no idea. It makes me appalled.
Well, Sarah, I mean, I can't say Sarah said it. I can't say that because it's just rumors, around the internet. Did Sarah change her clothes that day after towing the car? Was there any missing clothes of Sarah's?
No. Sarah wore the same. Sarah literally wears one outfit a day. She changes from her pajamas. I mean, I'm not going to lie. We slept naked together. So there was no really pajamas. But we had company. We had, Brandon that was staying there. We also had Adrien, so she wasn't going to walk out in the living room naked. Neither was I. So we put clothes on. But we didn't get dressed for the day. You know what I mean? We didn't get dressed till later on.
Thank God for that. We don't want to see them running around with their naked asses around the house.
So,
well, see, so Brandon said that, him and Sarah had breakfast that morning and then headed out and went to the mall.
What'd you say they did?
Had breakfast.
No, we had breakfast at our house that morning, if I remember right. Sarah
I assumed it was your house.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, Sarah literally wore one outfit that day. I don't. Yeah, she's not the type of person where she changes her clothes 100 times a day.
Unlike me, I can't make my mind up.
Sometimes have that issue too, and I'm a dude.
No, I do.
Um,
I mean, especially during certain types of weather, it'll be cold in the morning or cooler because I live in Oklahoma, and then I'll have shorts on in the afternoon, and then I go to pajamas in the evening. It's a hell of a load of laundry.
mhm.
Now, did you have a dog?
Yeah, I had my
Should have threw up a trigger warning, right?
dog. Her name was Oakley. It's the one that you see pictures with on Facebook. The little brown
Now I need brain bleach.
and black dog.
Okay, so
That's Oakley.
wasn't quite sure. I wasn't quite sure if that was your dog or you were babysitting a dog because I
No,
heard that
that
you
was
guys have a dog business as well. That could be a rumor.
a dog.
Out of the
Just move
hospital.
past this shit.
Hmm.
Was that on the way there or on out of the hospital? All right. A lot of people have questions about the trip to Texas.
Ask them away. Let's get them done with.
Okay. Well, hang on. Let's start with this.
He just acts like he's just too damn proud of himself, or like his ego just takes over. He's enjoying this. He's enjoying the attention. I think it's one of the reasons that he got up here, started talking and everything. You know, we're talking about a guy who was in and out of group homes as a child, who wasn't really liked. He was teased about being a fat kid. You know, he was in Special Olympics. He has a low IQ. I don't think he had very many friends. And now he's up here. He is on a show. YouTube is watching. He is enjoying this. He likes the attention. You know, I think it, you know, in some way, shape, or form, it makes him feel like he does have friends, that people want to listen to him, that, you know what I mean? Just all of these things, like, I'm somebody. I'm coming up here, I'm talking, I'm somebody, without realizing that even though I'm somebody, I'm a monster. Look what I did to this child. I'm involved in a missing or an abducted child's case. He doesn't understand that aspect of it. All he understands is I am out here getting attention, and that is what's important to him, because he's never had any kind of attention his entire life or friends. We're going to go a few more minutes. My husband just got home. I got a Walmart order I have to go pick up so that we can eat dinner. But I want to go. We've got just a few minutes here, and we had gone through an hour of this, and then we'll come back. This weekend is extremely busy for me. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing now. We'll stop right here. I'm going to write down the timestamp. We're at 57:57. Can you guys believe that this stream we have been on has been 2 hours and 48 minutes, and we've only gone through an hour of his bullshit? An hour. And only stopped to talk about important things, you know, different stories, information that we've heard, things that we know aren't true now, things we can compare to his confession footage. Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm seeing here, attention getter, he's demented. In all reality, we don't want to hear him. Yeah, we really don't. But we are, right? Because we're kind of obsessed with the case. We're obsessed with what he has to say. We want to find the contradictions. We want to sit here and analyze him and maybe find some slip ups. But, you know, wow, just wow. So thank you guys all for coming. Happy birthday, Connie. I didn't know it was your birthday, hon. Happy birthday. Getting ready to eat birthday dinner, Connie says. Well, happy birthday. My grandson's birthday party is this weekend, and I'm going to have my two oldest granddaughters tomorrow night having a slumber party because my granddaughter that lives up north will be here this weekend with her family for my grandson's birthday party that's on Sunday. So this weekend I will not come back, but I want to shoot for Monday, probably around 2, 3-ish. Maybe 3, 4-ish. I'm not sure. So just want all my mods to be aware. I'm really going to start hitting it hard, talking about all, like, I want to go through all of these videos that he's done up on the YouTube streets. I think it's really important to talk about. It gives us content, which we are running out of, and just being able to be here and like put something up on panel and something to talk about so we can bring awareness, just is what we need to do for Monkey right now, especially if somebody's watching and wants to hear and it is Chaos Mama's hubby's birthday today. We'll wish her hubby a happy birthday. But getting his name out is what's important right now. So let's do this one more time. If you have a tip, Michael Joseph Vaughn was abducted July 27th, 2021, around his home in Fruitland, Idaho. He deserves justice, and his family deserves peace. Michael was buried in the Wandra's backyard and then moved. There are 4 suspects with knowledge of Michael's abduction, with Michael being buried at the Wandra's house, with Michael's body being moved from the Wandra's house to another location, and his parents and family and friends and loved ones would really like to know where Michael Vaughn is, so that their so the family can heal and grieve the way they should have been able to from the very beginning. The 4 suspects are Sarah Wandra, Stacy Wandra, Brandon Shirtliff, and Adrien Lucian. Law enforcement has said that there could be other people involved. If any of these suspects have said anything to you, if you know anything, heard anything, saw anything, please call the tip line at Fruitland Police Office 208-642-6006 or email findmichael@fruitland.org. We have seen Brandy beg Stacey Wandra, asking him where her son is, to tell her something. And I'm begging any of the 4 suspects that could be listening to please come forward, please, and tell us where Michael is. Tell the Vaughn family where Michael is so that Michael can come home and their family can grieve. Also would like to ask prayers for Brandy Neal Vaughn today. She's very ill, and I can't go into detail, but she needs prayers. She needs lots of prayers right now. So please pray for Brandy. I appreciate everybody coming, being here, showing some love for Michael Vaughn. I hope to see everybody next week. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. Please make sure to click the like button on your way out. Just going through chat a little bit before we go. Okay. I'm glad you guys are here to go over this. I just think it's so important. Like, let's just go back over it, listen to his words again after knowing more about what he said the day that Michael Vaughn was abducted. Listen, to see if we can catch anything. Who knows? Yeah, and the coughs. He coughs constantly. I know it's a gross and disgusting thing that we're going to do, but it's what we're going to do. And thank you guys all for being here. Halo Art, thank you so much for giving prayers for Brandy. Thank you, Slim, for being here. I appreciate you so much. You guys are amazing, chat, and I love you. I'm going to come over here. We're going to end with monkeys. Let me see. I got to remove this first with a monkey video. Thank you, guys. And then I'm going to get off of here, and me and hubby. Oh, thank you, baby kisses. Thank you so much. We like to party when we get some super chats, and thank you for being super. I do appreciate that. I can't do what I do without all of you being here. I could, but it would be a very boring live, wouldn't it? Yes, thank you everyone for coming in and being amazing. Keep the Vaughn family in your prayers every single day. Thank you guys for being here. All right, I'm going to hop over here. Hold on one second. I got to take this down and put up Michael's video. Love you guys. See you guys next week. We'll do lots more digging into Stacy Wandra. Enjoy your weekend. Be kind. Brandy would say, be kind to one another. Love one another. Have a good weekend.